Earlier this year, SOMLEP completed a nutritive sensitive land use study under the EU Riverine project. The study set out to answer a critical question: how can SOMLEP households balance food security, income generation, and sustainability under climate stress? Quantitatively, the study covered 421 households across Afgoye, Baidoa, Dolo, and Luke districts. Qualitatively, the study conducted 8 focus group discussions and 18 key informant interviews. This was done to explore household diets, land use, crop choices, and develop a model on land allocation optimization. So what did the study found? Under food and nutrition, the study found that dietary diversity remains limited. Maize, beans, sorghum, tomatoes, and spinach dominate household consumption. This mirrors FSNU food security surveys, which also highlight cereals and legumes as staples, while fruit and vegetable intake lags. The study also found that 87% of plant-based foods are sourced from own production, while 78% are market purchased, showing households depend on both subsistence and trade. Nationally, FSNU reports similar dual reliance, with rural agro-pastoralists skewed toward own production and peri-urban households toward markets. Meat and milk are widely consumed but irregular, often limited to special occasions, consistent with FAO findings that animal source foods are rarely part of daily diets due to cost. 47% of households used coping strategies such as reducing meals or borrowing food, with Baidoa district reporting the highest at 98%, reflecting flood shocks and IDP influxes. This aligns with IPC or FSNU data that consistently rank Baidoa among Somalia's most food insecure districts. Under land use, the study found that on average, surveyed households own 22.9 hectares, with 94% of arable land cultivated but only 83% of total land used. By comparison, FAO reports that smallholders in irrigated riverine zones typically farm 1 to 5 hectares, while agro-pastoralists access larger tracts of land, often above 10 hectares, though not always intensively used. District differences are clear. Dolo has the largest land holding at 40.1 hectares, but lowest in terms of utilization at 78%, while Baidoa at 18 hectares, but highest efficient at 97% arable use, while Afgoye has the smallest holding at 10.7 hectares, while 68 total use. Gender gap persists. Male-headed households own land averaging 27.7 hectares versus 18.8 hectares for female-headed households, yet both cultivate 94% of arable land efficiently. This echoes World Bank land governance findings that showed that Somali women contribute significantly to agriculture but remain disadvantaged in land access. Under crop choices, the study findings that crop choices are still staple heavy, with maize, sorghum, beans, tomatoes, fruit cultivation being high, while fruit cultivation remains negligible, with banana, papaya, and mangoes among the fruits that are cultivated. And this reinforces national assessment that Somali diets miss micronutrients from fruits and vegetables. Findings from the model showed that while the survey average household land holding was 22.9 hectares, the model calibrated against the typical cultivated portion, which is 15.2 hectares per household, to ensure realistic alignment with actual productive use. Based on this, the land optimization model demonstrated that households could exceed caloric needs with a surplus of 10% and also earn around $1,354 per year from surplus sales, which is modest but significant in a context where FSNU estimates median rural household incomes at less than $1,000 annually. And also the model showed that there is possibility of maintaining sustainability while diversifying into 4 crops. This finding diverges from current farmer practices, which over-invest in staples like maize and spinach. The model also underscores what FAO nutritive sensitive agriculture guidance stresses. Rebalancing toward diverse nutrient base, dense and marketable crops strengthens both diets and income. So why do these findings matter? Somali national assessments often describe food systems as calorie heavy but nutrient poor. This study shows how smarter land allocation can close that gap. It confirms that even with average agropastoral household holdings, better planning enables families to feed themselves and earn a surplus. The findings also exposes gender disparities. Women tend to prioritize resilient staple crops for household food security, while men are more engaged in commercial crop cultivation, underscoring structural differences in access to inputs, labor, and markets. Based on these results, SOMREP and its partners are working to integrate the model into farmer field schools and community extension, and also advocate for nutrition-sensitive land planning in district and national policy, and also deliberately target women farmers with inputs and market linkages for higher value, nutrient-rich foods. What is our takeaway from this study? The study findings support the point that with the right mix of data, tools, policy, and inclusive planning, Somali farmers can turn land into a foundation for nutrition, income, and resilience.